All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video. Today we have a special Q&A with Raj, who is the CEO of Acutrack. Acutrack is a fulfillment company that helps with printing and shipping your book when you're doing TikTok Shop. And I've been talking about TikTok Shop a lot on my channel lately, and a lot of people ask us many questions about how TikTok Shop works, when it comes to selling books on there, as well as how would you print the book, ship it out if you're not going through KDP, because normally KDP does those kind of things. So I wanted to get Raj on this channel and do a Q&A to answer all of the questions that you guys submitted. So Raj, thank you for being here. How are you doing?
Great, Sean. Well, thank you for the introduction, and I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, very good to have you here. So I think we can get started with the most like fundamental question, which is how does TikTok Shop for books work exactly? If you can kind of share a little bit of overview on it.
So, Sean, TikTok to me, as we know, it's what we call it is social commerce. What that literally means is doing sort of an e-commerce on a social media platform. You're running a shop on a social media. So, and the best part of this whole thing is that you put a product and the books are sold through something by influence marketing, where other people are creating sort of talking about your book,
Yeah, people
creating
are
some kind
posting content on social
promoting
media.
content. You are doing the content, influencers are creating content, and now those influencers are creating certain amount of authenticity to your books, and you are getting visibility on the platform, right? So to me, TikTok for shop is more about getting discovered to a new audience, right? I mean, where so to me, I'll compare this TikTok compared to Amazon KDP is on, how in Amazon you would have reviews. The
Yes.
more reviews literally means your book is good. More people trust that product. Likewise, in TikTok, the more videos kind of create that trust in your book. So, just like in Amazon, it doesn't matter who's writing the review for you. The more reviews matter. Same thing to me, I think in TikTok, it really doesn't matter who is talking about you. The more video content, the more things goes in, more videos and more content is created, your books are getting sort of a impact of being seen and by more people, and it sort of increase visibility and sales revenue for you.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that more videos, kind of equal to more sales as well.
Yeah.
In terms of how TikTok Shop works, for books, essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, but with KDP, you just upload your book to KDP and it's a print on demand model. So once you make a sale, KDP prints it, ship it, and your books are hosted on Amazon. So people can find you through Amazon. With TikTok Shop, you can actually sell directly through the TikTok Shop platform,
Mhm.
not going through KDP. And you promote your books through, posting content on social media. You can also run TikTok ads. But once you make a sale, you have to fulfill that order, which is where you guys come in, Acutrack, right? Because since you're not going through KDP, you
Mhm.
can't use KDP to print and ship out the book. So Acutrack is going to do that, and you connect with TikTok Shop really well.
Yeah.
But in terms of the business model, it's very similar because you can still do KDP while doing TikTok Shop. You should be doing both because it goes really
Yeah.
well hand in hand. And whenever you get a video, social media video go viral, then not only will you make a lot of sales on the TikTok Shop side, but there's a lot of spillovers on Amazon side. So that's why
Yeah.
it really goes hand in hand. But I think, am I correct in terms of the overview of how that works?
You're so right. First of all, you do need Amazon, you know. I mean, no, Amazon is still a place to find your book, but as you mentioned, TikTok is not just another marketplace. It's a place for you to be discovered through to a new audience, through affiliates, to your own content. You are now, to me, it's is more than just another marketplace to sell the book. It's more of a place to be discovered, right? And as you just rightly said, you do make extra revenue on TikTok, but what's really, really important to know in this game is that your sales on Amazon is quadrupling or sometime going tenfold. And as I said, I spoke to every one of my clients, and everyone has been consistent in telling me that by being on TikTok, they see a significant growth of sales on Amazon.
Yeah. I
Mm.
definitely noticed the same thing with
Yeah.
some of my students as well, because some of my students are using, you guys for TikTok shop and just blowing up like crazy.
Yeah.
And then they're seeing the spillover sales on Amazon. So I definitely would love to talk more about that as well. Um, but then that kind of, ties into the next question that I had that people were asking is, why should someone do TikTok shop instead of just doing Amazon KDP?
So as I said, why do you need a TikTok shop?
Or why should you do TikTok shop instead of sticking to just like doing Amazon KDP? Like why should you do both?
As I said earlier, I mean, it's like it's a platform. Consider TikTok shop as a platform for you to be visible to a sets of audience.
Yeah.
As I said, that visibility, that marketing. Think of TikTok as not as another marketplace. Think of this as a marketing place to get a visibility audience, and that visibility of sets of amazing audience is helping you create certain revenue on TikTok, but most importantly, giving you sort of additional, visibility and sales on Amazon. Now imagine you getting a new sets of audience on Amazon without spending any ad money on Amazon. So that's just bonus for you.
Yeah. I see it as like an add-on thing
Yeah.
because you want to do both
Yes.
KDP and TikTok and just like TikTok videos and being able to hire affiliates and stuff. It's just going to increase your exposure so much more. But I
Yeah.
think yeah, I mean, some people do just TikTok shop, but I feel like KDP really should be added on. And now the distribution of the book is not just on Amazon. Now you're doing both TikTok as well. So you just have a wider distribution.
Yeah.
Um, so
E-
then yes.
Now, even people who are using, let's say, other platform, let's say selling books on their own Shopify platform or WooCommerce or e-commerce platform, and not using Amazon, but any amount of, to me, having product on TikTok is important for visibility. And then, of course, you could get a, direct impact of increased sales either on Amazon or on your shopping cart. Mhm.
So then if people want to get started with TikTok shop, how would Acutrack come into the picture? Like, the way I described you in the intro where I said you're a fulfillment company, you help with um, printing the books, manufacturing, and then shipping out the product once you make a sale.
Yeah.
Is that an accurate description of what the company does, or do you offer more than that?
So, so Acutrack sort of was started to solve a simple problem in the book industry. That we looked at the gap of print on demand industry, and we said we were solving that problem. And the biggest gap of POD was just the speed and the scalability. I mean, no matter how good a POD company is, they take days to produce a book and ship. Now, we sort of took that model, and instead of printing book when you receive an order, we decided to print a batch of books ahead of time, store them here. So when an order comes, we ship the same day. So this sort of fell right in line with what TikTok requires, because for TikTok, what requires is speed, efficiency. I mean, TikTok gives you sort of a score for, a better, some kind of shop score. And a good shop score literally means a higher visibility for you. So those kind of things you achieve by being just, you know, shipping on time, consistent quality. and those kind of things. So those are the foundation where Acutrack sort of fits right in there for those modes.
Yeah, I think you touched on a couple important parts here is that the requirement of how quickly you got to ship out your products when it comes to TikTok Shop and how that's very, very hard to meet if you do in print on demand.
Yeah,
A lot of people ask me this question of why don't I just skip Acutrack, right?
yeah,
And order the author copies from
yeah,
Amazon, send it to my house, and
yeah.
then I will ship it out every time I make a sale. Or
Hmm.
some people say, why don't I just, order my book on Amazon after I make a sale on TikTok Shop and then just, enter the customer's address
Yeah.
for every single order and just like skip Acutrack, right? So what would you say to those people in terms of is that a realistic, way to go around it, or is it going to be very hard long term?
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, Sean, I mean, it's not sometimes a bad way to start. I mean, if you feel like you could print books at some other place and ship it yourself, but at the same time, if you think about what is your overall sort of goal is, if if your video, think about if what happen if your video does go viral by chance, right?
Yep.
Um, you really need actually truly a partner, in this game where your books are never out of stock, no matter what the situation is. Because, if you are really sort of serious about growing this business, then you need to kind of put all the pieces in place, all the puzzles together. I mean,
Yep.
you need a partner who can suddenly scale you up. Your books are never out of stock. We always ship on time. I mean, when all these elements sort of are there, that's only your your score sort of goes up, your credibility goes up, and then your sales grows up. If you
Yeah.
disrupt by saying, "Oh, you know what, I'll do it myself," and then oh suddenly I'm out of stock, or suddenly I am going on a time off vacation, and then I can shut my shop off, your whole business never going to scale up.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you're fulfilling orders yourself, you literally can never go on a vacation, never can take a day off because if you do, then you're gonna miss that time that. So can you tell us like how many days or within how many days do you have to ship out your product after you make an order?
I mean, generally speaking, within 48 hours, if you ship, you are in compliance with TikTok.
Yep.
But right now, and we try to ship books the same day, right? And as I said, sometimes it's not about compliance. To me, as I said, the end result, you have to keep that in mind is if your end user or the audience who's writing reviews for you on your book, if they are getting a book faster within 2 3 days, if they are getting a quality book, they're writing you a positive review. Those positive review is turning into again, as I mentioned, a higher score on your shop. Now, all this a higher shop, and I'm telling you it. I've seen here score of 4.5 versus 4.8. Is it minor? It seems like not a big number difference, but TikTok just gives your videos you a much higher visibility. So, what we try to do as we try to make things so efficient. So it's not more about compliance, it's more so that we want to make sure that your end users are getting the best sort of speed and quality, and you in turn getting a better reviews. And better reviews means you are getting a better sort of score.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
if that
think
makes sense.
no, that makes sense. So people don't realize that TikTok Shop actually also has a rating system. So your shop gets reviews based on customer service and the product and those kind of things, which is very very important. Obviously, how quickly you ship the product, how well the shipping is, the packaging is, makes a big difference. And your TikTok, so not only do you have like external reviews where customers can see your reviews, but you have internal ratings where
Yeah.
TikTok Shop like gives you points or reduced points where whenever you violate, like if you don't ship out the product in time. So it gets really hard because like if you have a video that goes viral, um, and if you're trying to ship out, like package and ship out these books yourself, very quickly you'll run out of inventory. Now you got to wait a very
Yeah.
long time ordering those, inventory from Amazon. You're not going to fulfill it. You miss out on a lot of sales. You get a lot of violations, and it just very hard to make it work.
Yeah.
So I think Acutrack does make sense, for that reason. Um, how do you guys offer shipping in, the entire US, or how does that work in terms of where you send the books to?
Well, first of all, mostly if you are having a TikTok account in US, you are selling primarily in US, right? I mean, you are not, I mean, Acutrack currently fulfill primarily prints and ship books from our facility in Livermore, California. We also have extension of our warehouse in Pennsylvania, where we, for clients who are having a higher volume, we try to store their books in more than one location, simply because we can ship books from the warehouse, which is closest to the end user. Primarily, our goal is to provide a cheaper shipping and faster delivery to your customer, right? That's just the ultimate goal is. So right now, for TikTok specific account, I think your primary concern is US market. We obviously can ship our product from here to globally wherever you want using DHL Global as well, if need to.
So you're saying you can ship it globally if needed as well?
Of course, big part of our business customers are shipping internationally. But as I said, primarily the best fit is that you have to have an audience in US for us to be effective, right? I mean, that's the most cost effective shipping when you're shipping within US.
Makes sense. Makes sense. That's good to know that you ship overseas as well if necessary. And I think that's a question I have in my list here where people are asking, you know, are you able to sell in different marketplaces that is not where you originally sign up from? So as an example, I got a TikTok shop in the US, right? Can I still reach the UK market and send books there, or can I reach, let's say, like Australia market if my target audience is in Australia?
Yeah.
Uh, and can the opposite be true where, let's say, someone is in Australia, right? And I don't know if Australia has TikTok Shop, but let's say they do, and they sign up to TikTok Shop um, from Australia, but their target audience is in the US. So
Mhm.
can they still reach the US audience through their videos that they post on TikTok? And would Accutrack help with the fulfillment of those orders?
Yeah. I'm not the best expert on that topic, Sean, but I will say, based on my understanding, is if you are, let's say, in Australia and you want to, you have to, and you're serving to TikTok shop in US, you just need to have a valid way of, having a business running in US, open a separate shop for US market, not, and then sort of cater to the US audience. I'm not sure whether you can be in Australia running a, let's say, Australia shop and target US audience. As I said, I haven't seen that situation, so I don't think that, to me, I think you have to establish yourself as a merchant in sort of US to establish a TikTok shop in US.
Yeah, this is something that I'm also trying to figure out as well, doing more research.
Mhm.
Because if you're just posting normally on TikTok, uh, then you can just use a VPN and have your videos show up in whatever audience you want. Like, I
Yeah,
haven't lived in the US in years, right? And I'm traveling around. And, wherever I live in, when I post videos, without using a VPN, it shows to this whatever country that I live in. But when I use a VPN, connect to US IP, all of a sudden my videos are primarily being seen
yeah,
in the US. So if you're just doing TikTok posting without doing TikTok shop, then that's not an issue at all. But I'm curious if someone's doing TikTok shop, let's say it's a TikTok shop Australia. Is it as simple as using a VPN to start having the videos shown to the US audience?
yeah,
And then once they start, like, can they even purchase the product? And if they do, can they
yeah.
like because I know Acutrack sends to the US. Is
Yeah.
the question is like, do you guys connect to the non-US TikTok shop accounts, right? Have you tried that before?
No, not yet. But I have not had that sort of situation yet.
Yeah.
Every one of our clients has established a shop in US to that's how otherwise I haven't seen any international shop selling to US market yet.
Yeah.
Um, and you mentioned you could be right. I mean, you could certainly use a VPN to create content for yourself, even if you are outside the country. And but what's important is you are hiring influencers within this. If you're really trying to target US, for example, as a place to sell books, you can certainly have lean on influencing marketing for from the audience or from the creators who are in US base, right? So that's what driving the traffic. But my entire understanding is that you have to be established for your shop in US to sell the book.
I see. So you need a TikTok shop US account.
Yeah, because they have a pretty strict criteria of that you own a business, you have a bank account. I'm not sure whether they are even posting money to international account if you're selling books in US.
Yeah. From my experience, we're essentially starting to roll out TikTok shop lessons in my programs, and I'm obviously doing it myself. I got students doing it. I have my coaches getting started on it.
Yeah.
One of our coaches, which of, is just like crushing it with TikTok shop, going absolutely crazy. Um, I think he did like 100K profit in summertime. Like it's summer right now. It's like the slowest time of the year, and it's just insane what's happening. But yeah, this is something that I'm still trying to figure out as well. So I guess the more I uh, research on whether like people outside of the US can do it, I definitely will,
Yeah.
update it in the on the channel. But yeah, it I noticed that there's a lot of like rules when it comes to creating an account. It's not as straightforward as KDP. It's a little more trickier, and that's why I say like TikTok Shop is more level two. It's an incredible scaling method, but you should have more of an established business before you go into TikTok Shop. Like if you have a book that's successful, I think it's a great way to explode it. But yeah, just a little bit
No,
more to do.
yeah. No, I
Yeah.
mean, TikTok is, as I said, all audience, we have almost every audience. And you mentioned one of your coaches, he's doing incredibly well here. Um, we, but most of them are, I don't know where everyone is located, but I'm pretty sure they have shop in US. Yeah.
Yeah. From everyone that I know of so far, they have a shop in the US. Speaking of other people doing TikTok shop, right? Is it possible for you to share some of your clients who's doing well on TikTok shop, with Acutrack? If you can name drop them, I'm sure like a lot of the viewers know the brands,
Yeah.
that are crushing it. If name dropping is not possible, which I understand, can you at least share like the figures, like how much is it actually possible, revenue wise, to
Mhm.
make from books, if you go through TikTok shop? And if obviously we cannot guarantee anything, but like what is possible, if things goes well.
Yeah, I'll give you some perspective on some clients, but I think what I want to kind of send a message is that first of all, it's amazing time to be present on sort of TikTok now, right? Um, the reason I'm saying it is we have about in the last 6 months or so about 250 new clients signed up, and every one of them um, at different stage of selling, some selling less, some selling more. But one thing that they all consistently tell me that they are seeing an increase sort of revenue generated on Amazon. Now, to me, that itself is a reason to be on a TikTok shop for you just because it gives you a higher revenue and more royalties from Amazon without spending a dime, right? I mean, just from the premises that itself. So I just wanted to repeat that fact that, of course, you get motivated when you listen to how others are doing it, but you have a reason for yourself to be there for a reason. Now, um, last, obviously the first big name, we were very fortunate to work with Jeffrey Mason from EYP. You've probably seen his book, Mom, Tell Me Your Story. Um, Now, he started with us last year, sometime in April. I mean, he was there as a client, but he went on a TikTok shop sometime about a month and a half prior to Mother's Day. And his video went viral, and within a month or so, he sold about 200,000 books just on that month alone for Mother's Day. And then the same pattern sort of followed for Father's Day. He was obviously so successful. I mean, last year, he probably sold over 1 million books on TikTok platform. Okay, I mean that. But to me, the biggest thing that when I learned from him was that he was number one and number two status for his mom's and dad's book for a long duration of time on Amazon as a number one seller. Now that itself, as I said, is pretty incredible. What we are trying to say here that, hey, sell on TikTok and get number one status on Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I I
Jeffrey, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it's pretty insane what Jeffrey did. The Hear Your Story brand. He's still crushing it right now, you
Yes.
know. So he's been doing it really well for like years. But he was literally the number one best-selling book, as you said, I think last Q4, so 2024. And yeah, that just shows that the power of TikTok Shop, because you know back in 2024, I didn't really know how TikTok Shop worked, right? I didn't really know people doing it, and I was like, how is this book so successful? Maybe it's just a keyword, maybe it's just a topic.
Mhm.
But after learning more about TikTok Shop and seeing and I started finding all these, brands that are just like blowing up on Amazon side on TikTok Shop. And I realized they all are getting the push from TikTok Shop.
Yes.
So like that's the trend that I'm definitely seeing is a lot of the best-selling books right now, Jeffrey from Hear Your Story and many others are actually getting the push from TikTok Shop. So
Yeah.
that's the unfair advantage that they have.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
and
Jeffrey's story could be exceptional, as you said, could be his content and a lot of things. The timings could be playing the role. But prior to the show, I spoke to one of our other client. His name is Jonathan. He has a mindful mind. He barely started with us most recently, let's say in what, March, April timeframe. And in this last 4 or 5 months, he sold about 10,000 books. And he told me his Amazon sales are tenfold.
yeah.
So again, even in this, as I said, not comparing with EYP or Jeffrey, but this still itself, it's pretty incredible for you to sort of find a sort of growth on both, make money on TikTok and most importantly, sort of see the growth on Amazon side of your business.
Yeah, I think Jonathan's doing like 10K a month just from Amazon side, not even counting TikTok. I think he's doing multiple, tens of thousands a month. He recently joined our team actually. So that's exciting. I can learn more TikTok stuff from him as well. So yeah,
It could
I
be a
think
great guest for you.
yeah, I might do Q&A like this with
Yeah.
him. But most of these brands that are, crushing it with TikTok Shop, I think the key with TikTok Shop is that you can hire other people to create content for you. So not just, posting content yourself, but you can literally get affiliates, other people to post content and just give them a cut
Yeah.
of the sale, right? So could you talk about how powerful that is, how it works, first of all,
Mhm.
and, you know, yeah, like how powerful it is, you know, is that the main strategy most of your clients, most of these top publishers are taking, or is it just another strategy that you can take?
Most of my clients, when I speak to them, it's pretty clear that this affiliate marketing or others people creating content for you is the strategy, right?
Like
Now,
the number one
number
strategy.
one strategy. You could
Yeah.
spend money on putting ad on TikTok, and obviously your own video content is important, but nothing to the stature, of having others, creating videos for you, right? Now, it's not about just engaging or hiring these affiliates. That's not the biggest sort of secret is the with affiliates, the biggest challenge is a bigger plan you have to put in place is how do you retain them? How do you make sure that these creators are, you're spending money on them, you are sending them a book samples, you are investing on them, right? Now you want not just one video created one time and be done with it. You want your creators, it's like you want to create certain amount of a community or a partnership with them. You want to be constant, telling them uh, the subtleties of your books or what's trending and how they can keep on sort of constantly create videos for you. Because the more videos from a creator means more visibility. It's just that's how the dominoes effect is. So some of our clients are even using a channel called Discord now, rather than they invite, they only sign up when they sign up with the influencer, they affiliates, they can call them to join their Discord channel. Now, this is where they keep communication going, keep retaining them. As I said, the goal, as I said, to me, goal is not just engage, hiring, but sort of makes sense to sort of keep engaging them and keep having them constantly create content for you.
Yeah.
That is the strategy.
And I think a lot of the reason why people keep creating content is if you have a book that converts well, right? Like if they make a video and it sells really well and obviously they make money, that's what's going to keep them from making more videos, right? Or keep them making
Yeah,
more videos.
yeah,
So yeah, and then the communication can be on Discord as well. But how do you kind of like backtracking a little bit, how do you find these affiliates
yeah.
initially?
I mean, there are so many platforms now. As I said, the strategy some people engage is either, there is a platform called Yuka, and TikTok also has affiliate to be, platform to search other affiliates. Um, and there are different, of our people have created their own Discord channel where a lot of affiliates exist. I mean, as I said, finding them is one, but bigger challenge is, retaining them. I mean, how do you constantly, and you, as you mentioned in the beginning, they may not be very interested in creating content for you because you don't have a lot of sales. But I think, as I said, this is a hard work you have to do to keep them motivated by different means to generate certain amount of content for you, and then keep on creating content. And as I said, another thing to keep that in mind is these influencers or affiliate doesn't have to have a lot of following. As long as they are creating content and other people speaking content for you, that should be the way. And the more content for you ultimately drive traffic and sort of create that dominoes effect of more sales for you. Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed these top brands have like hundreds, sometimes thousands of affiliates, and they have like 50, 100 videos being posted literally every single day. That's not even you making it, it's these affiliates making it. It's just like, it's crazy, you know? At that point, you're not really doing the work, right? And like it's kind of like very, very passive, except you just have to manage these affiliates. But managing them, I mean, if they're making sales, and they keep coming back, then there's not much to manage. And in terms of payment, I mean, it's happening in the TikTok shop because everything's going through TikTok shop, so you don't really have to do much. But my question is, what's like the average commission these affiliates are getting? What do you think would be the average commission that the us publishers are offering
Yeah.
to the affiliates?
Um, Again, I have not dig deeper into that topic, Sean, but I do know that, uh, most of them are on an average could be contributing as much as about 20-25% for sure. And sometime when you're starting it out, I would say you average it even higher. You have nothing to lose, right? You can always change that strategy. But as I said, the initial goal is to nothing wrong in starting with 30% for that matter. But on an average, I believe, what I hear from some of my clients is that they are giving about 20%.
Yeah. I think I also see 20% as the average as well. Sometimes 10%, but like those who are offering 10%, honestly, they don't have a lot of affiliates because 10% is very low for affiliates. 30% is actually really good from what I'm seeing. And yeah, the more you can offer, the more enticing it is. Obviously, the more affiliates would want to work with you. Um, so yeah, like offering more in the beginning before you have your shop score built up, shop reviews built up, your sales momentum built up, I think is a smart strategy for sure. So going into the next question, this is something that a lot of people asked, which is what are the rough startup costs for doing TikTok shop? And it's, mainly talking about how much does it cost to print these books, right, with Acutrack, because you have to order inventory upfront since we're not doing print on demand. So the cost for that, the manufacturing of the product, as well as the cost of shipping, and if there's any other costs, like obviously, everything is case by case depending on the page length, the trim size, what kind
Yeah.
of, are you doing black and white or color? But do you have like an estimate, rough
Mhm.
calculation that people can expect in terms of how much margins, they get per sale, like the net profit after total expense,
Yeah.
those kind of numbers?
So as you said, everything is case by case situation, but in on a very high level, let's start by, you know, TikTok is not like Amazon KDP, right? And on a KDP, you can literally go live on Amazon without spending any money. You just, they make the life easy, set it up, you're good to go. TikTok, you have to be serious about, it require investment. Okay. Now, what kind of investment? I would say, first of all, as you mentioned, Acutrack wants certain amount of money for printing, uh, setting up your store. So that's one area of spending. You can give and take, say, roughly about budget about $2,000. I would say, we would expect you to print about 300 books, you know, store it here. With all that initial, about a 2000 budget is not a bad way for Acutrack to spend. Now, equally important is that you need to also budget for affiliate marketing. Now, you can't just say, well, I'm going to start just print these books and do nothing, right? I mean, now you have to send books to affiliates. Uh, you have to involve, this is a draining process a little bit, you know, but as I said, you have to be committed to make this happen, because if it does go right and everything does go, the rewards are high.
Yeah. You have to send affiliates the copy of the book so they can start making videos. Um, that's that's like, depending on how much you're selling the book, but let's just say like 14 bucks plus $7 shipping, that's 20 bucks per
Yeah.
book. But that also depends because you can set free shipping yourself, but let's just say like 20 bucks, I think is a good average. So that definitely adds up as well.
Yeah.
If you're doing manufacturing, so $2,000 for Acutrack, and then how much do you guys charge for shipping per book?
Yeah, roughly about, range of, depending on the nature of the book, but $5-6 average. So you end up, I would say, if you overall keep certain amount of overall budget of 3 to 4 grand, when you choose to work with TikTok platform is the right way to do it.
Yeah.
You want to have money available to launch, some money to launch for giving away your books, and then by the time your thing's going viral, you know, you need more money to produce more books. So
Yeah.
it is, and we work with the team. I mean, it's not that we let our customers. We try to hold their hand wherever we are not so harsh in that, it's a partnership we are building with them. So we work with them. But yeah, it is somewhat draining because in that sense of inventory, upfront money, customer service, affiliate. So there is a lot in this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's more work and more money than just doing KDP. And that's exactly why I think it is a level two business. You know, you should only do this once you have a book that's doing well already on Amazon,
Yeah.
because it doesn't make sense to, you know, take on this much work if you don't have a book that's proven. And
Yeah.
so that's what I always say in my videos. A lot of people kind of want to jump onto new strategy just because it's shiny. But I think one step at a time is the best way. But I sincerely believe that TikTok Shop is the best way to scale. So if you have a book that's doing, let's say, you know, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, I think, and so that's like a winner, right? It's already proven on Amazon. It's doing good. So then you can, you know, put it on TikTok Shop. If you're doing 500, $1,000, you know, a month from this one book, hopefully you did that for a couple months and you have the couple $1,000 budget required to do TikTok Shop and Acutrack that you can reinvest in the business and then just scale and make a lot more. So that's how I see it. And
Yes.
I think the higher barrier of entry is actually a good thing. A lot of people complain about that, like whenever something is hard, like, but you got to realize, like, when something is hard, no one want to do it. So if you're the few that is willing to do it, that's where
Yeah.
you make the most amount of money. That's how people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, you know, from this, like literally selling books, which is like insane. A couple of years ago, that was insane, and now it's like happening to multiple people. And the opposite is true, like people who did low content books because that's like the easiest thing ever, you know, just like pump out journals. Everyone can do it. And look what happened. Like, you know, it just died pretty much, right? So barrier of entry, I think, is a good thing. But going back to it, I think people are curious about the per book cost, not the overall, like, yes, you know, overall it's like a couple $1,000 that you should have probably, but like the per book calculation, right? From what I remember, you know, working with you guys when I was ordering my book, it depends on how much you order in bulk. But you know, if you're ordering like thousands of books, thousands of copies, then it's $2. It's around $2 per the printing of the book, and that could go up to, I think, like up to like $5, right? If you're just ordering like 100 copies or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so then, you know, let's just say like you take a medium, like the middle of $3
Yeah.
per book or something. And then the shipping, you know, on average is how much? Like $5 to $7 or so
Yeah. So
for shipping.
I'll simplify this, Sean. I mean, it's not you are used to selling a book on Amazon and you know what a print cost for Amazon is, right? Pretty much, right? I
I'm
mean,
not the best numbers guy, but like rough,
yeah.
rough
Well,
calculation.
consider Acutrack would charge you literally to start your business, whatever you're paying for a print cost on Amazon. And we would like you to do about 300 books to start. We can do 100, we can do whatever, but now if you're if you want to start with 300 books, you know what the print cost on Amazon is, and we'll simplify it and we'll pretty much around that our print cost is. On top of that, we obviously store books and there is a we fulfill books, we package, ship on demand, as you know. So there is a cost of fulfillment, roughly about $2 there, and roughly about average about $5 to $6 on the postage cost, depending on the weight of the book. So those are your numbers. Now you can add them up together and based on that, come up with your TikTok strategy, right?
Yeah.
And make sure you have margin for yourself and margin for affiliates. So those are not, you can look at many examples from others how they are doing it. I mean, you, as I said, those are the things when people like Jonathan or anybody come to your show can really dig deeper and what marketing strategy they did to make sure, so our cost is pretty simple. Nothing, it's not that dynamically changing anything. It's more like your strategy on what retail price you want to set it up, whether you want shipping and handling extra to be charged on TikTok and things like that. Those are the strategy you have to implement it properly.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
think it's impossible to do like an exact calculation. So like for those who are watching this, obviously the best way to find out the exact numbers are just to book a call with Acutrack. The link is in the description.
Yeah.
And then you can figure it out. But I think most people are just asking for like the rough idea
Yeah.
of, the math. So if I would, and from what I remember again, I don't want, like, you can correct me if I'm butchering this, but
Mhm.
you know, if you order 300 copies or something, you'll match the Amazon printing cost. I think it's like 250 a book or something, was it?
Sure.
Right?
Yes.
So then 250 is in like $2.50. And then shipping, or sorry, you have the fulfillment cost, which is $2, so that's 450 at this point. And then you have the $5 to $7 shipping, so now it's like 10, $11 fulfillment. The good thing is though, with TikTok Shop, you can charge the shipping to the customer. So you sell your book, let's say $14,
Yeah.
but then it's $14 plus shipping, which is
Right.
$7 or so, which the customer pays, and then that's your profit as well. So your profit is, or your total revenue is not $14 that you pay. It's $14 plus a shipping of actually around, like, let's say $20, right? So then in terms of the cost, we're at like $11. If you're doing affiliate marketing, and if you're paying affiliates, you're paying 20% of the cost of the book. And what else
So
is there?
that goes it from 20 to 16 now.
Yeah, and then TikTok takes, forgot if it was like 8% or something, 8% fee, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, it definitely adds up, but there's still a couple dollars profit margin with that, even with a normal book of like $14. If you're doing journals, hopefully it's heavy content journal that you can sell for 18, 19, $20, that people are doing on TikTok Shop. If you're just doing blank journals where you can only justify selling it for $5.99, then yeah, it's impossible to do this. The numbers don't work out. So if you're selling books, you have to have and I always say this, you have to have a super, good, like, aim to create a high quality book that you can justify pricing high, because we want to, although you can make it work with, I think, $14 or so, if you can go up to like 18, 19, $20. My student actually, or actually so I keep going back between my student and my coach, because he's both. He started as a student and he's a coach with us now. But we're talking about, the guy that's killing it. He sells his book for like $30, and this is like a single book. So that's the goal, is to create something really good, sell it.
Absolutely. I mean, in any e-commerce business, a higher product value does help, right? I mean, that's how the margins are maintained. So you're so right. I mean, if your product is for less than 12 to $14, it may not even work, right? So you have to create a better product to generate. But on top of that, I would also suggest people create bundles, which
Yeah,
is also a great way to sort of create the product value. So you have a main book, you could have a journal, or you could have two different books, you can bundle them together. And the higher the overall product value, it works in your favor. If you're shipping two books, let's say for $30 versus one book for even $15, right? When you do the
yeah.
numbers, it will come out to be make more sense. So
That definitely makes sense. I think bundles is huge for selling higher product. I also noticed that, and was the other question people had, is you can actually package like physical products with your book, right? And then, that's a bundle. So like your book with something else. Like people do this in the coloring book space. There's this one brand on TikTok Shop where they sell the coloring book, but also the Ohuhu markers, which are the markers that people use for coloring books, and then they sell it for like $50 or $60 or something.
yeah,
Um,
certainly you can create a more value to your product, right?
yeah,
But I would just say keep things simple.
yeah, true.
The more items you add to the process, it's just more complexity we are adding in supply chain. So just keep things simple. If you can just use books and other printed material to enhance the value, nothing like it.
I agree. Yeah, keep it simple in the beginning. But if people do want to do that, right? If people do want to package different products, can they do that with Acutrack? How would that work?
Yeah, if we can suddenly, as I said, end of the day, we are a fulfillment center for books. But if you want to merge those with books, something else, you can certainly supply those items to us, talk to our team, and we can bundle them together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
This is not a
then
print on demand. Like, we are a fulfillment center. We'll store your product, merge those product with your books.
got it. So we just have to get, source whatever product we want to bundle,
Yes.
send it to Acutrack, and you guys will put it together in a box essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. This was one of the question that people had is can you share what type of books are selling really well on TikTok Shop at the moment?
So, I think you touched upon this just a few minutes back, and I would sort of stick to that point. If you are somewhat successful on Amazon, that is a indication for you to drive to TikTok. If you're not even successful on Amazon, don't even venture into TikTok, right? It doesn't matter. Obviously, there has been a trend on TikTok that we know that romance novel or adult fantasy has been a big seller. And lately, we obviously talk about self-help or self-discovery journals and books are doing amazingly well. But I would sort of look at from my if you are in a self-publishing space, look at your books and look at are you selling 40 to 50 books on Amazon today? That's a good indication that you need to be on you just need to now create certain amount of budget and venture into TikTok. That's the way to kind of um, a reason for you to be get visibility because there is no reason for you to not be on a TikTok if you're reasonably doing well on Amazon, because now you can get more visibility and sort of seriously grow your business.
Yeah. At the end of the day, TikTok Shop is kind of like Amazon ads, right? It's just another way to gain
Yeah.
exposure.
Mhm.
So, like, just like with Amazon ads, if your book is organically selling really well, like, it makes no sense not to just run ads and show it to more people because it's like, that's just, if it's selling already without ads, it's going to sell with ads. And TikTok Shop is the same thing. If it's already selling without TikTok Shop, it's going to sell uh, if you just show it to more people. And the audience you have, or the audience of people that hangs out on TikTok doesn't change compared to those who hang out on Amazon. I mean, they're both from the US. It's the same thing. That's why a lot of people watch the video on TikTok and go to Amazon and buy the product. A lot of people ask like, "Oh, TikTok is just for young people and you know, if you have a book for let's say like older generations, like people are not going to buy it." But we both know that that's not true because like some of the clients that you have, some of the coaches,
Uh,
students we have,
yeah.
you know,
I mean,
are
today,
target.
my understanding is, Sean, that there are 150 million users on TikTok today. That
Mhm.
is 50% of US population, right? So to I think it is not for young people anymore. I mean, this is not about just youngsters creating some video content. This is a serious place to be, and it is just thriving big time with this influence marketing. So I think it, if you, as I said, if you, I think all genre, all kind of product is just going to become a mainstream there now.
Yeah. In fact, I feel like most of the brands that are crushing it are targeting the older demographic, not
Yeah,
just like teens and stuff.
yeah.
Um, so are you okay with time, by the way? Can we keep going or how's it
Sure.
looking on your side? Okay. So then this is another question people had is how do you handle returns with Accutrack?
So this is not something I would sort of worry a lot about returns. First of all, you're looking at such a small segment of people choosing to return, right? I mean, but if the product comes back for any reason, product gets added back to your inventory. There's a cost of return, cost of adding that, we charge for return management fee, a small fee. But as I said, this is in a grand scheme of things that's so negligible. That's not even, and for some time I even let them say, rather than having a book returned to us, have it returned back to yourself if you want. That's also very easily doable. You kind of know who is returning a book. And then sometimes you have extra book in your possession. Nothing wrong with that. Give it away for free to here and there, make more friends, right? So it's one of those things where it's not, you know, it's not disrupting anything. It's just very small people return books.
Yeah.
And
The so it rarely happens, but I think if it does happen, it's like $2 and how much was it for you guys? Like the fee?
I think the cost is just $2, but the problem also is at time post office charges for return fees. And as a fulfillment center, we need to pay post office for receiving those returns. So sometimes, let's say your client send the book and say return fees to be paid by party who's receiving it. Post office as a fulfillment center, we need to pay them. Now, whereas if you receive a book as an individual, post office just drop it in your mailbox. So that's one of the reasons I was trying to tell you that sometime you may want to choose to have the book returned to you rather than sending it to us, because we would charge you for a return fee plus the amount of money we need to pay to the post office to for the
Got
return.
it. Yeah, and I think most people would want the book sent to their home. You know,
Yeah,
for me it's tricky because I'm constantly traveling, so like I don't know where I'll be in, and it's hard to get a book shipped internationally. But yeah, for those in the US doing this, makes sense.
I would even say that when you have a TikTok client and wants to return, let them know to keep it for free. I
That's a
mean,
good one too.
I mean, just the more goodwill you can create for yourself is, it just, as I said, it just creates a good, overall experience, you know, um, for your store.
Yeah. It's actually a really good tip to just say, hey, just keep the product. And then, you can, I'm assuming you can get good reviews on your store
Absolutely.
if you do that as your practice.
Mm.
So then what about if people want to insert or include custom inserts such as a thank you card or something like that in the package? Do you guys do that as well?
Yeah, actually, that is something I really encourage to my clients to do that. I think it's a very inexpensive way, putting a little thank you card, help you promote your, I mean, any form or shape that can upsell something down the road. So any of that stuff, if you want to do that, or direct them to, maybe a free, for your where you're selling your ebooks or things like that. Anything you can do to help grow your business. A simple thank you card is such a inexpensive thing to add inside the book.
And if people want to do that, would it work similar to adding physical products to it? Like, do you have to mail the thank you cards to Acutrack where you guys, package it up together or?
No, anything with paper printing, we produce it for you, right? I mean, thank
Oh,
you
okay.
card is, but anything with, if it's a poster or print, or uh, anything with print, I know we specialize in books, but anything with paper printing, our team is very effective. But anything outside of paper print, I would sort of request that the client send those product to us.
Makes sense. Got it. How many books do you recommend people to get started with? Like a minimum order size?
Yeah. To initially start with Acutrack.
Yes. Or yeah, this
Yeah.
process.
As I said, we originally launched the services thinking, hey, we can do minimum of 100 books, but we realized that 100 books, uh, put a little increased setup cost to us. And also, the goal was to keep the print costs as low as possible. So we thought the starting point, we told our client is let's do 300. 300 quantities um, was something, gives you sort of a competitive price, as I told you, matching to Amazon. B, it gives you a certain amount of room to send certain free books to affiliates. You're not out of stock within a third day of your ordering, right? So I kind of encourage to start with 300 books. So about 100 or so books you want to give it to affiliates. You still have 200 to launch. And if something does go does go viral, we have time to react right away and help produce additional books for you.
Sense. So 300 copies to get
Correct.
started, which I think is a good place as well. In terms of the speed of getting everything set up,
Mhm.
how long is the entire process of getting started with TikTok Shop? Like, how quickly can you sign up? How quickly can you link Acutrack to the account
Yeah.
and start selling it?
Okay. So if you look at, um, there are two aspects of this, when you sign up with Acutrack. One is the process of sort of printing the book. So we would be proofing your book, sending you, and then adding books, right? That's one sort of chain. And the other aspect is, setting up an account and integrating that our fulfillment operation with your TikTok store, right? So if you already have a TikTok store, you're already selling your books, we could integrate with that in matter of days, right? Now, if you don't have one, then of course it's the part of we integrating with your TikTok store could take a little longer just because, there is an approval needed from TikTok on, them approving us as an, partner for fulfillment and things like that. So that could literally take some time, 2, 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, same thing with book printing. We like to kind of print books in about 2 weeks or so. But if you are selling or you're going viral, or if you just wants to start with Acutrack and say, look, can I start tomorrow? The answer is yes. So we can sort of adapt our production needs to meet your need also.
Yeah. From my experience, creating a TikTok shop account was very quick, very easy. I actually messed up a couple times. I have multiple TikTok shop accounts.
Mhm.
Um, so I've done it like multiple times, and the sign up process was very smooth. I had students who had issues with their ID verification, and fortunately, it never happened to me. But if you do go through that, then it might be a little
Yeah,
longer as well. But for me, like 2 days to open up a TikTok shop account. Link in Acutrack did take a little, so it was like 2 weeks or something because you're waiting for the TikTok
yeah,
partner page or whatever you call it to approve it, which takes time. So I had to email them and say, hey, like, I'm waiting for this. And then they did it. After that, the printing of the book, like you said, it was like, I forgot if it was like 10 days or 2 weeks or something. So all in all, I think the process was like a month with uh, possibilities of delays if you have issues with ID and
yeah.
linking and stuff. But yeah, I would say the
I think
average.
that's a good sort of time estimate. Things could go better or things could go few plus minus a week here and there. But and it's only the initial launch time that you have to be a little bit more patient. But once it's all done, then from there it's smooth sailing. We'll meet and we'll produce things as you scale up.
Yeah, yeah, it's just a setup that takes time because after that, it's you guys are just like you email the clients, hey, your inventory is running low. You might want to order more, right? And everything else is kind of autopilot. So it is nice that it's the bulk of the work is just upfront setting it up. Um, but those were all the main questions that I had. I do have some optional questions of kind of people asking miscellaneous things. Um, Number one is, do you need an LLC or a company to do TikTok Shop, or can you start as a sole proprietor?
Yeah. So I think my understanding is TikTok is looking to, before you set up a store, is that you are a business, right? And how do you generate that you're a business? You got to be either sole proprietorship or a LLC or corporation, right? You cannot just have I have a social security number. Now, if you have just a social security number, you are an individual, you're not a business, right? So, so in order to be a sole proprietorship, you may need maybe fictitious name or some kind of a valid document to show that you are a serious business. Now, so to me, you need to produce a document to show you're in business. And one of the easiest way to show a document that you're in business, you can apply for, it's called EIN, like Employment Identification Number. Um, if you just give TikTok a EIN number document, you're done. You don't need any other document, right? So, so I don't know if I answered the question, but you need more than Social Security to start with. You need something to show that you're in business, and that's when you get shop approved.
Got it. So yeah, in my opinion, the easiest way to do that to show that you're in business is just starting an LLC. It's like a very simple process.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess there is a way to do it as sole proprietorship
There
as well.
is. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can be a sole proprietorship, open a EIN number, and you don't need LLC.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so that answers that answers that question. The next question was, can you get emails of buyers with TikTok Shop because with KDP you cannot?
Yeah. I don't think that you have that access available either. Obviously, you get physical addresses for us to mail them out, and you can use that database with a thank you card to direct them or other things. Like, you can build your list uh, by so once you put it, you have you sending a thank you card to your customer, you can encourage them to sign up somewhere else, um, and give them something else for free to get their access. But I don't think TikTok gives you email address either.
I think you is there like a rule where you can't reach out uh, to the customers who purchased because I do remember getting emails of the sale that I've made here. I'm trying to find the emails.
So you do, at least we don't have access, because we are posting the transaction detail back to TikTok Shop, and TikTok Shop is notifying the end user for the tracking. Um, so in our database, we are not getting access to those emails.
True. I'm looking at my orders that I've made so far from my own TikTok shop account, and I see the customer's name, their shipping address, their phone number,
Yeah,
but I'm not seeing the email. So you're right.
yeah.
I wonder if I go into my shop account if there's an email that's displayed or if it's just a shipping. Because if it's just shipping, obviously you cannot build an
I
account.
personally think TikTok is holding those email addresses and you're not getting that data. But beyond that, as I said, you just mentioned you're getting their name, phone number, addresses. The email is not accessible. They want to protect that.
Uh, Next question is who handles the customer service? And the answer is us, right? Like ourselves.
Um, that's a
Yeah.
great point. You brought it up. We obviously, first of all, you know, you have to manage. That's the premises of managing your store, managing the customer service. I'm very happy to announce in this show that Acutrack actually very recently launched a customer support service as a help desk service for our clients. What that means is uh, we can be that customer service support provider. We can set up, integrate with your store in a manner just similar to how we get orders. We can get any support issue into our system and we can in a real time address those for you. So our goal was that we want to free our clients to focus on marketing and other content creation rather than worrying about customer service.
Interesting. So this is a new service with Acutrack. You're doing the customer service for us. Um, can you tell us a little bit more about like exactly what you do? Like, do you do review management as well, or just
Yeah.
answering support tickets? And how much does it cost?
Yeah. So we launched this service recently, and it has been working very effectively. We are not only just responding to any of your customers' questions in a timely manner. Um, because, and also review management as well, right? If any negative reviews or anything happens, we try to work as if you are working to, respond to them and address those concerns. So our team is well trained and helping with that aspect. So our goal is that we could be a lot more effective and timeliness to provide that service. Then you could spend time on it and get distracted by that. And then that literally could mean a better shop score for you because it is in our interest you have a best shop score.
Yeah.
You do better, we do better, right?
Yeah.
So at this point the service is launched very minimal. We charge a $250 per month, um, and we feel that roughly it can give you about 50 support tickets support with that service. It's a recurring monthly service. You can cancel anytime if you don't like it. But we feel that this small fee is going to help you grow even more. And we, as I said, we feel like uh, if the number of calls sort of grow, we can talk to our client more at that point. But right now, this $250 a month service sort of suffice for most of our clients.
Yeah. It makes sense that you guys are doing customer service as well because, a lot of the questions you get are kind of related to more technical stuff like, do you ship to this area? Like, um, what's the trim size? Or they wouldn't ask trim size, but like, kind of related to those kind of things, which Accutrack has the information, right? But sometimes, they do ask like let's say if it's a self-help book and they ask kind of a like question regarding the content, like, am I gonna learn this inside the book? Like, how would you guys answer questions like that?
We can always defer those questions to our client to ask, but as I said, and sometimes uh, our customers, you know, we have our team has a good knowledge about your book. We have a lot of AI tools now involved in this, so I mean, we try to answer a lot of those questions in a very sometimes quick generic way also. But as I said, it's not that when we are doing it and we see something of that significant question asked, which is not sort of our forte to answer that, we can always ask our client to help us answer those questions.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, nowadays you can upload the entire book
Yeah.
to AI and just have AI check, if it's actually covering those topics or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Um,
So a lot of
yeah.
these help desk tools are leveraging a lot of our AI technology behind it too. But again, there is a real-time person who is uh, qualified, learn, and as I said, a lot of time, a lot of these questions are, where is my book? When I'm getting, what's the tracking? Can I, whatever reason, it's a lot related to logistics as well. Um, and it can get answered very promptly.
Sounds good. Um, the last question that I had is it's a mix of a lot of, questions of like the printing quality and the printing type from Acutrack. So people are asking, do you do specific trim size? Like, do you do 8.5 by 8.5? Do you do, 6 by 9, 5.5 by 8.5, right? Those kind of things. So that was one question. And if you can specify the trim sizes that you have, do you cover most major trim size? As well as people ask about the printing quality. So, you know, do you do black and white, colored? How is it different compared to KDP? Like, is it better, worse? Uh, and also if you do like spiral bounds and different type of
Yeah.
printing, if you could kind of cover that real quick.
So if you remember, our premises of our company was to address the gaps of print on demand. So we realize that print on demand is constrained by sizes. They are constrained by certain type of books only they can bind, right? Or they were constrained by just using one paper. I mean, Amazon used 50-pound uncoated paper. So if you put in terms of quality, so we sort of address all those gaps. So if you just a quick answer, we would produce any size. Ideally, you know, give you choice of different paper. So all those things are, you know, if you put our product compared to any print on demand, it's going to be vastly superior. You know, it's just going to be, we're using our, but having said that, I would also sort of say that just because we offer everything and everything, our goal is we still, end of the day, like to keep things professional and simple. Don't make books so complex, right? I mean, our goal is to follow a certain standard processes and standard process to, because you want to allow us to scale up things when things go viral. If your books have so much treatment of embossing, foiling, all those treatment, they may look good on a short term, but it just restrict us from scaling up. So I don't know if I go tangent in my discussions, but we support everything. Our quality is better, but I'll still say keep things simple, standard.
Yes, I agree with all that. Keeping things simple is the best. Um, and I can attest that the quality of the printing is much better because you guys, one of the process of getting started with Acutrack is you send a like a how do you call it, like a demo copy or something. So you actually send us a physical copy that's printed out, and you have to approve it before you start the manufacturing of the rest of the inventory. And so that's when you can kind of compare the quality with KDP, and then yeah, everybody says it's much better with Accutrack.
You could, our
So
print quality, our color printing quality is so clean and so nice. I mean, you can, as you said, you can get a sample. That's the easiest way to sort of compare it. You can review our reviews on our Trustpilot. I mean, across the board, is we are almost close to perfect score there. So I mean, and we take this whole thing very, very seriously about our customers' feedback on these things. So um,
yeah, I think your Trustpilot reviews also, you have a 4.9 average, which is, I mean, as close to perfect, right? Because 5 is perfect. And yeah, my program, my publishing education program also has a 4.9, and I was like feeling good about it. Like no one else has 4.9, but you guys do. So we
there-
both are committed to excellence, I guess,
that's why I'm on
trying
the
to do
show.
good. Yeah.
There is
Thank
reasons why I'm on this show.
you. Yeah, I love it.
I've worked with the best.
Yeah, it's been good working with you guys. And I appreciate you coming on the show. So that was all the questions that I had so far. I'm sure, there will be follow-up questions. And for those who are watching, if you have follow-up questions, I guess you can comment below in the video and I'll try to answer, as much as I can. But also the best way to ask these questions is directly to Accutrack, which Raj, can you tell us more about, like, if people want to work with you guys, if people want to learn more, where should they go?
I mean, obviously, we obviously start by having a conversation with our clients, learning about their goals, what they're trying to achieve. So, as I said, we want to make sure we customize our solution for them. And the easiest way I would say is sort of you have given a link on your on this YouTube channel about referring. It just helps us to know that they originated by listening to this show. So it does help for us to cater our service to make sure, hey, they came from Sean's site. So it just they've already learned quite a bit about, they're prepared. So it just makes it easier. But yeah, we do make a conversation. You can reach out any form or shape by reaching our website, signing up a form, and our team will at that point sort of schedule a meeting and have a face-to-face conversation through Zooms and things like that, and then kind of work as a partner.
Leave a link to the the page where you can book a call and talk to Accutrack in the video description, probably in the pinned comments as well. So go and check that out. But yeah, with that being said, Raj, thank you so much for being here. I think we learned a lot. We covered most things. And again, anything we missed, people can book a call. But yeah, thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. And for those who are watching, thank you for watching as well. And see you guys in the next video.
Thank you, Prashant. Bye.
Thank you, Raj.